go in, and then that's the level. It's actually probably just about the shortest level in the game, actually, if you know where you're going. There's not even any like secrets or anything to be found in the other parts of the level either, since you've already got all of the weapons for all the other characters. Okay, so here we go. Final boss time. Like I said, I think this guy has like 4 or 5 forms or something. It's actually a pretty decent boss. Like, the different forms kind of vary in how interesting they are to fight. That jump is actually really, really tricky to make there. It's really tough to jump over this guy. I actually want to be on the left side of him. Shit. Yeah, you gotta be, like, right in just the right position. Or actually, you know what? Yeah, let's make sure I don't have to redo this shit. Get our sub-tanks in order. Yeah, I got like my Xardion laser there, or whatever. This second form here is actually probably the easiest, or I guess the third form is the easiest technically, but third form has other problems, which we'll see. Which we'll see at great length in a moment. Actually, even at this level, I probably should have just done a little bit more farming to get the fully upgraded Xardion gun. Because yeah, this final boss is just a complete joke. You can wipe him out in like a couple minutes if you've got fully upgraded weapons. At weapon level 1, and yeah, that was the thing. I'm kind of... I don't know, I tend to resist, like, farming and grinding, like, to beat bosses in video games in general. Like, in general, if I come across a boss in an RPG that I can't beat, rather than level up, I'll just throw my face into it over and over and over again, repeatedly. Okay, so this is the second part, or the third part of the fight. And yeah, this is basically a trick to beating this guy quickly. Quickly? Oh, no, not quickly. Easily, at least. Yeah, all of his attacks go off to the other side, so you don't even have to worry. You can just keep jumping repeatedly. And, yeah. Throwing bullets at the back of his neck. And it's actually slightly faster to do it this way, since you don't have to, you know, go out of your way to, you know, dodge his other attacks. Basically, that one there that he just did is the only one you have to worry about. But yeah, if you fight him this way, you don't even have to worry about that one. You can just continuously jump and shoot him. And, yeah, this is probably the worst boss, this form of the final boss is probably just about the worst part of the game. And that is saying quite a bit, I think. Like, we're not even close. I don't think we're even a quarter of the way done, this guy. Or unless that laser does, like, way more damage than I think it does. In fact, I think I've tested it out. The laser does, like, pretty much almost no increase in damage, but yeah. This form takes fucking forever. And in my first time through the game, and my first Let's Play series of this, I actually, like, threw myself at this fight repeatedly with, like, just the level 1 Xardion gun. Like, I didn't even get to the level 2 cannon. And I tried fighting this guy with just, like, just like your basic level 1 weapon, or, you know, first stage of weapon upgrades, and it's even worse than this. It's the most tedious goddamn thing I think I've ever seen in a video game in my entire life. This is insane. What on earth were they thinking? I suppose they didn't realize that, like... It's like this thing has, like, just the same amount of health as the other forms as the boss. It's just, you know, you can't actually rapid fire him. You just gotta keep on jumping repeatedly. If this guy's entire body were vulnerable, then that would be one thing, but no. Instead, you just get like a 1/5 as much DPS on him as the other forms. So that sucks. Bosses, like I said, bosses in this game in general are pretty garbage. The other forms of this final boss, though, are pretty decent. This one, though, they just had to ruin it. That's the thing, every time this game has like a good idea, they just have to ruin it with some terrible execution or something. Like, you know, different characters, different special abilities, awesome idea, but, you know, 2 of the characters are worthless and half of their abilities aren't even good for anything. More than half their abilities. Each character has, like, 1 ability that's somewhat useful in a few different situations. Oh, damn, that guy does a lot of contact damage. Thankfully, we've got, like, 4 sub-tanks, so this is hardly even a real fight. In fact, I probably don't even have to worry about dodging the rest of his attacks. This here is actually almost like a proper boss fight right here, like this form of the boss. He's got, like, a few different attacks. He uses them in kind of random order. That one there is, like, really, really difficult to dodge. I have no idea. Like, what do you even do there? And he's just gonna keep spamming this one because he knows that I can't dodge it. Oh. That's the one that you want him to use. That one you just duck, and that's all there is to it. But yeah, that was way more interesting than the previous form, but it like hardly lasts at all. Okay, this last part of the fight is actually probably the high point of the game. This is probably is as good as Xardion gets. Right here. This is, yeah, probably the most interesting boss fight in the game, is this final form with the last boss. It's... Okay, he's taken a while, but... Okay, he's gonna do... There he goes. So yeah, basically you've got like... He's got like his little wave there, which the timing to dodge that is actually a little bit tough. And he's also got these orbs that he drops on you at a couple different timings. He's got the fast orbs that just drop straight down. He's got the slow orbs that hit the ground, and then, you know, again, a little bit of a curveball there. So it's like you got stuff coming from above that you gotta step side to side to get around, or to avoid. And then he's throwing these waves at you as well that you gotta jump to avoid. So it's like you gotta jump, and you gotta move to side, you know. It's kind of like you're playing a video game almost, which is, again, like I said, it's kind of a small victory for this game. And you know, I kind of like that, at least, that the game kind of ends on a high point. And like I said, even though this guy has like, you know, the standard 3-frame walking animation that everything in this game has, it's kind of it's a neat looking sprite. You can actually see this. Like, as maybe something that might appear in, like, I don't know, as like the final boss in a mecha anime or something. Final boss? Yeah. Most mecha animes actually do have final bosses, as it turns out. And they generally look something like this. That's the other thing. Another cool thing about the concept of the game, just like the whole idea of like a mecha, like RPG side-scroller game with like influences from, like, you know, mecha anime, like, you know, your Gundams, or actually I'd say Macross is the game that is the series that this game pulls from the most. And there you go, that's the final boss. That is Xardion. And we'll actually have a nice little bit of story. And we have a lovely little freeze frame there too, as well. He's got like his little ballet tiptoe pose there. I don't know why they suddenly switched back to like the standard boring boss music. That's the other thing, the final boss theme is actually a bit catchy too. Music in this game is half decent, at least, so that's another one of those small victories. And yeah, they've started up here again as well, to show us the woman inside a capsule for some reason. I love how that one guy, I'm assuming it's the same guy every time, is just always incredulous at like absolutely everything that the other guy says. It's just like, you can't be serious. It can't be. You can't be serious. That's really it. I think he says like, you can't be serious like 5 times throughout the game. And here we get what was actually going on. The whole backstory behind the invasion of NGC 1611. Yeah, that's it right there. And yeah, indeed, like I said, it's, I don't know, got kind of a, I don't know what it is. It's just with the visual design of the mechs, or actually I'd say I get more Gundam actually from like the visual design of, especially Triton and Xardion look like Gundams to me, but like the plot and the enemies and stuff kind of reminded me of Macross. And anyways, yes, yeah, just the whole idea of like a mecha RPG anime game, and yeah, more stuff like this, like more, you know, more anime bullshit pictures and stuff, and and story text, and, you know, an actual plot progression and whatnot. I like if the game had more of this, and were actually like actual balanced characters. Like, this is so close to being a decent game. If they just like ironed out all the flaws, made the characters like all good for something, maybe fleshed out the levels a bit to make the different, to actually give, you know, actually make it so that the different levels are actually designed around the different character abilities for like more than 1 or 2 spots in the game. Maybe make it so that you can actually tell, because you can see that they kind of like try to flesh out the personalities of the characters just a tiny little bit, except it doesn't matter because you can't tell who's talking ever. So it's just like, yeah, they're so close, they have such a cool idea, and they just like mucked it up terribly in almost every regard. But, you know, I don't know, the game captures my imagination anyways, for no good reason, really. Oh, and hey, another like sprite or another animation thing for the final boss. That's kind of neat. Like I said, the game's been kind of stingy with the different frames of animation for the enemies in this game. Wait, I thought it was a living planet. Or I guess the whole planet died? I guess it must have when we killed the... whatever you call it. I don't know what to call it. Oh, this is a nice little image right here, too. I love this. I think something like this should have been like the box art for this game. I guess didn't... box art for this game wasn't terrible or anything. It was just like, you know, kind of a generic looking... It was just a generic looking picture of Xardion, but that pose with like the... That image there with like the wrecked Xardion sticking out of the tree. That's just a lovely little image right there. A great way to end the game, too, actually. Oh yeah, speaking of great ways to end the game, yeah, it's just the first stage music again for some reason. I don't know. Bit stingy with, not just with the animations, but a bit stingy with the music as well. But yeah, that's Xardion. Kind of a crappy little game, to be honest. And man, there were so many simple things that they could do to fix it too. This is something I had a little rant about this at the end of my last Let's Play. I think it would be great if like ROM hackers or something could fix up this game, like because you know there's this big ROM hacking community against for the big popular games for Super Nintendo. Like you've got the Metroid ROM hacking scene and the Super Mario World ROM hacking scene, and almost all of those ROM hacks are just terrible. It's just like, yeah, let's just make Metroid again, only with shitty levels. Let's just make Mario again, only with shitty levels. That's like 90% of the ROM hacks out there. Whereas with something like this, something like Xardion, I think they could actually improve on. You could get like those ROM hackers making shitty Mario levels, and I bet you that those shitty levels that they make would be better than the levels in this game. Mind you, I guess it would take more than level design, I think, to fix this. It would take probably a complete rebalancing, retooling all the bosses, reworking a lot of the character abilities, and honestly, I'd imagine that the game's code is probably a mess as well, considering... Oh, hey, Tenpei Sato! I completely forgot about that. I probably noticed it in my previous playthrough, too. He is... Why do I know that name? Tenpei Sato. He did the music for... I believe he's the composer for the Disgaea games and all of the Nippon Ichi games that they make. Apparently Gainax had something to do with this game. I have no idea what. I tried to research it, but I don't know. They assisted, apparently. Whatever that means. But anyways, yeah, considering, and yeah, the weird non-responsive controls, I bet you there's some, like, jank-ass shit going on with the code in this game, so I bet you it's even impossible to ROM hack it. Now, nothing will ever save this. Better games will save it. Like, I'm trying to think of something comparable. Like, I guess Castlevania 3 kind of had the character switching thing, but not the experience system. I actually can't think of a game that does what Xardion does here, like different characters that you switch between on the fly and level up independently. I don't know. Point one out in the comments if you can think of it. But yeah, that's Xardion. Kind of a shitty little game, but you know, a lot of really, really cool, interesting ideas that kind of make it stick out in my mind and make it weirdly, another one of those weirdly compelling games to me. Maybe it's just like this style of game. Like I said, Evo was that way for me too. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully that was better than the first. Certainly it'll have better audio quality, at least, than the first Xardion LP. And yeah, it's probably the last time I'll ever play this game. As ever, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.